elusive Pokemon. How do you do it? You're gonna be fast. Ah, missed him.
And you better be good.
Ah.
Great pictures. That's the name of the game in Pokemon.
Oh no. The sound effect for dropping something just went off, but anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is very special to me. Some people like to say there's a voice of the community, there's a voice of the people. That voice needs to be deep in order for it to reach the back of the room. And that voice is the voice of Koro. Koro, 1 second here if I can turn off studio mode. Thank you, studio mode. Koro, welcome on in. I keep fucking it up. Oh shit, it's broken. It's it like doesn't come down. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what's flipped is the audio for the thing. But Koro, are you there, Koro? Hello, Koro.
You said you'd be here at 8 exactly, but it's 8:01 and I don't see you. Your promises as far from satisfactory are breaking my heart when the clock strikes. It's 8:02. Do you not respect me and my time? Are you not responding because you died? You said wait here right now. You agree, but you left me alone to cry in the street like I'm so nervous. Where'd you go? I'm anxious because scenarios I'm making up inside my head are telling me that you don't like me. How can I ever trust a friend again? The promise that he made with all... Wait a minute. Hey, you've been here. I see you now.
Yeah, I'm right here. What's up?
What? Oh, yeah, sweet.
I sent you away.
Hey.
I'm just kidding.
No, sorry, man.
Come
I
on
probably
back.
was looking the other way.
What's up?
Hey, man. Oh, I'm just here, speaking in the void.
Speaking in the void. Doesn't look like a void. There's a lot of activity going on behind you. What's that one over there? What's the one on your shoulder?
One on my shoulder. One on my shoulder.
There's like a galaxy there on your shoulder. It's doing some of that gravitational lensing.
Well, that's what you think. That's what you think. You would think that's what it is, but it's just a piece of earwax came out of my ear when I put, I keep the cloak up, the humidity real high in here, so I gotta sometimes just shake it off,
Yeah.
What is that? Was that Taylor Swift or whatever? Shake it off.
Bro, have I told you I'm actually a Swiftie?
You're a Swiftie?
I'm a Swiftie.
Oh my god.
Am I canceled now?
This got so serious. Well, you're changing Ticketmaster's current policies, so you got a thumbs of approval from me. Look at this. Hold on. I'm gonna shake it off just for you. Look at that. I'm shaking
he's shaking. He's doing it so much. So much shaking.
Ah!
All right, Koro. I want to go ahead and get into it now. Before we came onto the stream, right? You let me know that your kitter cat had a surgery recently. The cat's doing good. How the cat doing?
Oh, okay. So the cat is purring now. He's capable of purring, so he's pretty happy, really. If anything, basically the way we have it set up. So, let's just. You mind if I start from the beginning?
Yeah.
All right. So long story short, for those who are unaware, there is a current new diagnosis known as fluted. Essentially, it's unknown exactly what causes it or why exactly it happens, but it is the underlining causer is denoted to be stress. So essentially, what happens is my cat gets stressed. His bladder and his kidneys end up going ahead and delivering delicious thick mucus to his urethra, and then he's unable to pee. He gets blocked, and then he might perish. So you have to put a catheter in. It's an expensive procedure, and long story short, every time that happens, it does a huge risk to my beautiful little kitty. His name is Tanjiro. So Tanjiro's beautiful lifespan and his health. So we made the really hard decision that personally, as a man, it hurt. It hurt a lot. Um, so
Oh,
what they did was they basically took his kitty wee wee and they lobbed it off and reformed it, so he is now no longer male presenting, so to speak. But now he won't block ever again. So it is, it's a little, it's a little drastic, but considering the alternative, I don't want him to ever experience that again. It was a horrifying night. This is, I don't know if this is what people want to listen to.
no, no. The people want to hear everything. The people have spoken. The people want to hear everything that's going on. I feel like
Right.
it's an opportunity here, here on the Hostway channel to just go ahead and just let us know what's going on with everything and anything. You know, there's no limits here. Uh, if the Kato is doing good, I feel like that's good for me and the community.
Well, that's thank you. I appreciate the support, but yeah, it was post birthday day, so it was a great belated birthday gift, and we went to the kitty ER and all that, and so yeah, basically he is better now. He already has passed his first kitty pudding and his first well, I can't even get it. He's pissed and pooped. There we go. I said it.
Lemonade.
I said it. The lemonade. Ah, you should have said that earlier. Now I seem like a very crude person. But
No,
anyway,
no, it's okay.
yeah,
Well,
he's done both, so we're really happy. He seems to be doing a lot better. He's purring, he's meowing, he wants our attention, so we're really happy. It beats him being all depressy spaghetti and all not purry like. Now he's having naps and sleeping. He's on this new FDA approved opioid that had side effects of possibly not sleeping. So that was terrifying. But yeah, he's now actively sleeping when he wants to sleep.
um, well, apart from a kitty cat that just survived the entire thing, how many pets do you have?
All right. So as far as pets go, I've got, let's see, we got two cats, we got one dog, and we got one bird. The bird is a cockatiel, beautiful little cockatiel, getting real advanced in those years. Past, it's over 10 years old. Her name is Sparky,
Hmm.
adorable. She loves getting pets, but if you try to pet her, she'll bite you. She'll just go for the bite. Now, this is the thing though, you got to survive 3 bites, and after the 3 bites, you're deemed worthy, and she will allow you to pet her. It's really nice. It's really worth it. I've done it so many times.
It's like a
Uh,
ritual the dog has.
yeah, it's a ritual. It's a ritual, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's for the bird. For the bird.
Oh, the bird. My bad.
Yeah, yeah. And
Sorry, I was
we
looking at
got
my
a
dog.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Let's talk about doggos. I got my doggo. He's a giant schnauzer. His name's Ryuk. He's all black and he's adorable. He's great. I always wondered how the heck I was going to get used to calling my dog Ryuk. And now it's super easy to go, Ryuk, what are you doing? Sorry, hold on. There we go. Ryuk, what are you doing?
What are you
No,
doing?
not my mouse. Not again. No. Why? So many mouses. So yeah, there's that. And then I got my two cats. We got Tanjiro that I've already introduced him to you guys. He's a feisty boy. He originally actually was found by a German researcher in the woods, so that was a thing.
Oh
Found
man.
him alone with his siblings, abandoned by his mother, and when we first got him, he actually tried to nurse on me. So after that, we were like, well, guess he's ours now. And yeah, he's been a feisty king ever since. And then we have our first cat, who is a year older than him. Her name is Melody. She's all black. Love me, my all black cat and my all black dog. And then Tanjiro is white and black, so it was perfect. He's the perfect in between. But I digress. Melody is she's she's not the brightest quiver, arrow in the quiver, but you
Yeah,
know what? I love her anyway. She's my favorite.
the brightest
I
arrow in the quiver. Just
yeah,
the way the old classic saying goes.
she's adorable. She's super cuddly. She loves to just hang out and love and have a great time. She doesn't bite my goddamn cables, and she doesn't eat all of my mice. So interestingly, she is the least likely to find her way out of a cardboard box, but she is by far the cheapest pet we have here. Every other pet is costing us a small fortune.
Oh. So you said that one of your pets tried to nurse on you. Did you end up having a piercing put where the pet tried to nurse on
No,
you?
no, 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 no. He what Tanjiro did is we would I'd kind of like hold him like a baby in my arms, and then he would start making biscuits around my what do you call it? What do you call it? My man,
Your
what's the word the
groin?
kids say nowadays? No, God,
Well, you said
no.
my man, and then
No, there's a manticle, they made a very good combination, these kids nowadays, with the combination of words. It's like the 90s back in the day. Anyway, long story short, he went to my pec and just started
your
making
nips.
biscuits. Yeah. And he would start licking and stuff, and I was like, buddy, number one, I'm wearing a shirt, and number two, this is awkward. You gotta stop. So then eventually he would grab my hand and then just like take a finger and put it in his mouth and just go blah 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 blah. And I'd be
So no
like, okay, I
piercing.
guess this is weird, but it's a lot more comfortable than getting my nips pierced. So yeah.
Yeah, cats I think have really sharp teeth. I don't know. I've only been around like a couple of cats, but yeah, they hurt
I
like hell if you get bit.
heard you say he has sharp feet. I'm like, oh, I mean, I maybe
Yeah, I mean that too.
fucking
Technically, they
freaking
got the claws. They'll
bee
pop a claw
drill
on
the
your ass.
cat.
Okay.
Well, a quick.
Hmm?
I was gonna ask, quick question. What is your favorite Pokemon? Just side note.
So my favorite Pokemon, I'm gonna give you two because the first one I feel like is very obvious. For like anybody that plays Pokemon, I feel like there's that one Pokemon that everybody knows that is like the favorite, and it's not Pikachu. And that would
Oh,
be I guess I'll give you like the evolutionary line, which is the Charmander one.
I
Um,
knew it.
yeah, I'm a big Charizard guy. Um, but I guess if it was to be second to that, it would be Lucario. I think he's really like cool and stuff. And then he's got the little bit pre-evolution, I guess is the
Hmm.
word for it now. And that motherfucker looks adorable. So yeah, it'll have to be Lucario.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I
What about you?
personally really enjoy this little green fellow. Yeah. Yeah, he's a leaf type. That's my favorite. That's why I'm called useless.
Squirtle,
No. What? Squirtle? This is water type.
Geodude,
Geodude. All right. My favorite Pokemon by far. No one can touch him. It's got to be Trico. Trico's the
Trico.
best. Trico. Hell yeah.
Why Trico though?
What do you mean, why Trico? Have you seen Trico?
Yeah, he's weak to poison.
He is the coolest of the Pokemon. He's the best. Period.
But
Who looks
what
cooler
about
than
putting up
Trico?
Trico next to like I don't know something like Froakie?
I don't even know what a Froakie is.
It's the one that evolves into the ninja frog thing.
Oh, yeah, no, that one's lame. No, no, lame. Has nothing on him. Trico's the best. Period.
Oh man,
He gets a twig and pretends to be a cowboy.
I think you
Nothing
sold
can
me
beat
on it.
him. Exactly.
That's all you had to say.
And then he evolves into whatever he evolves into, and that one's even cooler.
Grover Grovervile.
There we go. That thing. I know all the Pokemon.
Grover.
Clearly, I'm an expert. I'm an expert.
Man, what was your first game? If Pokemon's like kind of one of the first things you want to bring up, what was your first game that you played? For me, I think it was this
How,
Vietnamese
wait. What about if we? Oh wow, I wanted to say it at the same time.
Wait, what?
Shit. I was like, what if we say it at the same time?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
All right,
One,
one, two,
two, three.
three. Green.
Vietnamese ROM hack.
Well then, I've heard of that
They were
one.
saying cuss words and everything was blue.
I remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a thing.
So that was my first experience, and I was like, "Why is this game so fucking hard?" And I realized I realized what had happened, and I was just like, all right, well, just
Bamboozled.
keep swearing at me, I guess. But apart from games, I know you really like Bloodborne. Is that your first
Mhm.
Souls game? Like, is that like your first?
9. My first Souls game was Demon Soul.
Oh, so you're like an OG.
Not even an OG, bro. I wish. I wish I was a Kingsfield. I wish I was like, yo, I played Kingsfield.
I mean, but like
Lame.
when we say Souls, like Demon Souls was the first one, right? Like if that was the case, like about like going all the way back to Kingsfield, you could also bring up like the entire lineage of like Armored Core
Yeah, I guess
or
true. But
whatever.
did you know about Eternal Ring?
Is that like Elden Ring 1?
It is literally kinda. They had golden seeds. They had all sorts of stuff in that game that you're like, whoa, this existed like way before.
And it's a FromSoft game?
Yeah. And I actually learned about it from shoot, what is his name? Damn it. I'm gonna feel really bad about this. He has an entire series about reviewing uh MMOs and trying to find the best ones, but then eventually he just switched it up and it was like, screw it, I'm gonna try to find the worst one. Uh oh man, Josh Strife Ace.
Cool.
I gotta look it up now. Now I gotta look it up. Hold on. I'm gonna use my Void keyboard. Dwall,
You mean your
Dwall,
infinite knowledge?
Dwall. Yeah, totally. There we
Yeah.
go. Strife.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
recently while you looked
Oh,
that up,
dude, it is that. It was actually his name. Hell yeah, it is Josh Strife Hayes. Hayes, Hayes. He has an entire series on best MMOs, worst MMOs, and he would cover some games from his childhood. And funny enough, he actually has a memory of spoilers. Don't listen for the next 10 seconds if you don't want to hear the spoilers starting now. He has a memory of on the playground telling kids about a game and being like, yo, do you guys remember that game with the baby as the final boss?
what? Resident Evil
Exactly.
7?
Well, there you go.
Or
But
no, no, it was 8. It was 8.
point is, it was from Eternal Ring, and so I ended up watching his sort of like playthrough, going through the mechanics and everything. Like he breaks down the whole game in its entirety and talks about it. Like it's very nice. It's a very good retrospective because it's really hard to look at games from the past with the perspective of people who've already experienced it. And we know that now as boomers. I mean, at least me personally as a boomer, it's like, man, I love that game. And then I try to play another game from the exact same time period. I'm like, this is trash. So, yeah. It's
Eternal Ring.
pretty hardcore.
You're hardcore.
No. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm hardcore. Hardcore parkour.
I'm just out here like switching back and forth between our scenes. I'm just like, but so
Mhm.
Bloodborne, right? Was what we were
Yeah,
talking
so
about.
yeah, completely back to Bloodborne.
um,
Ooh, god dang.
so Bloodborne for me was my first, right? I hadn't played
Mm,
any of the like Souls games previous to that. So I wanted to ask if immediately like after picking up Bloodborne or like you might have already like been following news about it and stuff. Like was there a moment while you played the game where that specific game just kind of clicked for you? Like not necessarily just like gameplay wise cuz you already had experience from before. Um but whether it was the story or the gameplay, I guess, because it was a little bit different. But was there a moment for you that was just kind of like, wow, like this is the game?
mm. So I have a I thankfully have a very good ability of keeping myself spoiler free from Souls games before I complete them. I got into Bloodborne way after it's released because I hadn't got a PS3 yet. I was on like the PS2 for way too long. So when I finally did get it, what moment is where it all clicked? I would say the initial click, not the full click, just the initial click, came from the first battle with Gascoigne, with Father Gascoigne. Definitely the feeling of like, oh, this boss is literally supposed to be me. Like, he has the blunderbuss, he has the halberd. It's straight up supposed to be like, this is you. This is totally you. And it's an immediate understanding. Just like how in Dark Souls you're fighting hollows, it's you immediately understand it's like, oh, this is me.
Hmm.
I get it. Like, we're all screwed. Why or how, I don't get it, but I understand that eventually this is what's going to happen. So, and it was super cool, of course, with the guns because that's what made that fight what it is. Constantly the barrage of bullets going left and right. You trying to visceral attack him. He viscerally, I mean, him constantly parrying you by accident, not visceral attacking you, but then kicking your butt anyway because you tried rolling out of it way too quickly. So then you end up rolling into one of his attacks. Yeah, good times. But I would say it truly clicked after I beat the game because I think we're all aware of the fact that Bloodborne has its endings and that at any ending, doesn't matter which one you pick, you're going to have questions about what the heck is going on. And it was upon delving into the lore that that's when I really truly fell in love with Bloodborne. It was a great game. I loved the engine, how it ran, the mechanics. It was super fun. But the real reason I stayed was for the lore.
I feel like for me, it was it wasn't like necessarily like a lore moment, although I guess it could be tied back into one. But I remember specifically, I think I was in a voice call with, like in a PlayStation Network call. It was like, you know, I was
Yeah,
in a call with my friend who had talked me into playing it, and I had just started Forbidden Woods, and I'd been running around getting lost and all this stuff, and then I get to I guess the windmill, right?
yeah. Hmm.
And I'm crossing this bridge and an enemy comes up. Now, the enemy has like
Oh.
a bandage on its head, right? And he's like
Mm.
dragging this axe behind him. And I'm just like telling my friend like, "Yeah, like I guess it's all right. Like, I've made it this far. I might as well finish it, right?" And the dude, like I get close to him getting ready to attack, right? And the dude starts
Mm.
getting a headache and I was like, "Bro, same, right?" Um
Mm.
and then like the head bursts and it's just a shit ton of snakes in his head. And I was like, yo, yo, let's go. And I think from there on, I think that's what I had been missing was slowly the game inching towards a genre of horror that I didn't know that I was gonna like, which was cosmic horror, Lovecraftian horror,
Yeah, yeah.
whichever term you prefer. Um, I think that was pretty great, man. I think that moment for me really did it, and I attribute my love for this game, even though it's not the most cool moment in the game. That specific moment was what made me start looking into the lore. I was like, but why? Started looking into the lore, started fucking obsessing over it. Found Vati Vidya, found out that he was like stealing some dude's content, some dude that was like actually going into the game and reading stuff, and this dude was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just watch those videos and then pump out my own like right after, word for word. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, that was the fucking part, man. It really clicked for me. I thought it was really really fantastic. But apart from like Souls games and stuff, I do know that you are a DM for a Pathfinder tabletop RPG.
Ooh.
So I did want to ask, with D&D itself being the most popular form of a tabletop RPG, what made you go with Pathfinder?
Well, you're gonna be a little disappointed with this, but it was just the one I played first.
Oh my God, no!
I I went I was moving. I met this guy
Hmm.
and we were looking at a unit together. He was doing the tour for me, and then we talked about Game Grumps for 30 minutes. We went back to the leasing office. I told him I was going to sign the lease. Later that week, I signed the lease, and then when I came passed by the office again, he was like, "Hey, you do you like tabletop? Do you like D&D and stuff?" I'm like, "I mean, never played, but I'm interested." And he was like, "All right, cool, cool, cool. After my shift, you're gonna come with me to my car, and we're gonna go play at my friend's house." I'm like, "Oh, yeah,
He
okay,
just signed you up like
okay."
that?
Yeah, no, he just
I
went
would just
like,
took that as a yes. He's just like, oh, you like him? Okay, let's go.
no, he was just like, "You're coming with me," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I went to a second location, like you're supposed to, like my mom taught me.
Mm.
And I met a whole bunch of people for the first time, and I made a character for 4 hours. And then the next week we started playing, and it was a real good time. It was a fun time. Um, Shout out to Rob. But the one thing was my first EM, like we didn't finish the campaign, and that's no dig at him. He was really good, really great. He did so many cool things, and we were like so much was happening at once. And then eventually he wasn't doing so good and stuff, so we ended up dropping it. And to this day, like I still want to invite the guy to come play a game with me and stuff. I miss him a lot. But yeah, I ended up just really liking Pathfinder, and then I wanted to broaden my horizons, so I looked into D&D, and when I compared the two, I actually still kind of enjoyed Pathfinder still. So here I am.
Yo, so just on a side note here, I actually know a friend named Salt, and not too long ago, it's been a little bit, but not too long ago,
Mhm.
he did have me on to create a character. So
Ooh,
I'll
hell
ask him if he's still looking for people, but I also don't know
yeah.
when this is happening. But yeah, dude, if you're into so we're doing it on D&D, I think. Or I actually
Mhm.
don't know. I'm pretty stupid, but yeah, I'll let him know that you're into tabletop RPGs, and then we can take you to a second location.
Hell yeah. There we go. Kidnap me into a realm of fantasy, daddy.
Oh yeah. So as a dungeon master, what do you often like ask yourself like things like, "Oh shit, man, like I really wish that I could have been in my own campaign." Like, like you pop out some really interesting stuff, or are you like creating like your own scenarios, or are y'all playing
Mhm.
like, like homebrew?
So I basically, well, for my first campaign, okay, I feel like I ramble along. Do you want direct answers, or do you prefer when I just ramble like the way I do?
I actually like the ramble. I'm
Oh yeah,
not
all
like
right,
against
ramble.
it. I feel like the more you talk about it, like, as long as you yourself are enjoying like talking about it, it's all chill here. We're all ears.
All right. So my first time DMing was because we had so basically the way you can think about our composition, right? It was me, the guy who recruited me, who wanted to just beat things over with a stick. So he became like an orc barbarian. We had an elf wizard who was kind of like the knowledgeable guy. He knew all the Pathfinder stuff. He had the setup, he had the dice, he had everything. So he ended up being the DM. He took over for Rob. And then we had a small goblin rogue who was initially our quote unquote that guy because he didn't really understand, that was like a team sort of thing. The very first thing he did when we played with Rob was that he tried to rob a guard, failed, got punched in the middle of a town square. Everyone stared at him. The orc barbarian laughed, went, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and then I showed up as a human bard. Real sad, I know, but everyone else was the fantasy creatures, and they're like, "We need a human," and I'm like, "Fine, I'll be the human." I wanted to be a goblin, but anyway. But yeah, I like lent him a hand, and I was like, "Come, friend." Oh no, sorry, I was come, friend. I was Jack Sparrow for some reason. I think it was because one of them was like, "Wait, you just Jack Sparrow voice, do the Jack Sparrow," and that was it, just Jack Sparrow. So That being the composition of the team. Oh no, and I almost forgot. The most generous and nice person in the group was a guy who played a bird person, and he was
Bird person
basically a gunslinger.
from Rick and Morty?
Not from Rick and Morty. No, this guy was way cooler. He was all crow, all bullets, all day long, critting left and right. It was the best thing ever.
Jesus.
But I digress. Point is, with that composition in mind, our elf wizard, who usually was DMing and kind of steering the horse, he had to prepare his next one. So our beautiful bird person was making another scenario, but it was he was DMing an all role play thing. There was no combat. So our orc barbarian was, I want to hit things. So during that session, I took a giant, that giant vanilla paper that you wrote on in kindergarten that had all the guiding lines so you can write the letters really big?
Yeah.
I had one of those, and I basically wrote my entire campaign on it within those 3 hours. And essentially, it became the scroll of truth. And I was like, all right, this is the campaign. Let's go. And I based it entirely off of a very niche quest in a random, really old, like 2002 mobile game that I played. And after we finished the entire campaign, I showed them the game, and they were like, "What? You you based all of this off of this? This? There's not even color. What is happening here?" And I was like, "No, man, yeah, look, here's the bridge. Here's all the stuff. Isn't that so cool?" And they were like, "This is you just created it from we're gonna pretend this doesn't exist." Anyway, so it was a real cool time. But yeah, I basically made the whole thing, and it started off as just like little bullet points, and it just kept expanding. Every time I would think about it, it would expand. And again, when it comes to DMing, my thing is all about having people get to experience the feelings I'm feeling. Like if I imagine crushing someone with a hammer and the excitement that comes between landing that final blow, I want you to experience that. So I try my best to transition that through story, narrative. That's the same thing.
So,
Music,
so with
like
you
all
being
of
a
these things.
narrator
Yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
can you narrate us someone getting their head crushed in?
Definitely. Okay, how would we go ahead and start with this? Let's take there we go. Or man, no, I don't want to use you. You're so nice.
Okay, so my name is Brosway, right? And I'm on
Bro Slayer,
Voltobulon
there we go.
5, and I just
October on five.
absolutely nay-nayed
Mm.
the king of like that entire planet, right? And so
Mhm.
a group Grob comes in, and that was like his homie, right? They were like
Yeah,
secretly
group
lovers, and
grab.
now he's the next boss, right? It's like a secret boss
Mhm.
encounter, and
Got it. So he's like,
I'm like
so it would
one
go.
HP after the
Okay,
previous boss fight.
okay. So it goes. So it would go like, and you'd be like, no, the group grab. And he would encapsulate the boss, and he'd go ahead and lift up his mangled corpse, his translucent and ever glowing surface, hardening suddenly, becoming harder than any armor you've ever seen before. You go ahead and see him, and he looks at you, and instead of doing his usual as he is a group glob, suddenly his voice becomes sharp, and he says, You killed him. Very well. Then I will kill you. He runs towards you, and although you realize the resistance of his armor, his head is still all gloopy. So you raise your hammer in a last ditch effort. That's the sound of wait, hold on, I have better. Hold on. Where's the thing? There we go. There we go. That was you rolling dice. Oh, 120. In which case, you lift your hammer with all your might and go
Yeah.
ahead and lower it upon his small, what would you call it? What would you call it? A blob's head. I don't know.
His
His
his re- his
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 glubious cranium.
there we go.
and you
His
There we go.
glubious cranium.
And you crack straight through, splattering his what would you call it? I usually have more time for this. What was it? What was it? There's a name for
His
this. There's a
galaxy
name
brain.
for no. There's a name for it. Because some like jellyfish, for example, they don't have a brain, but they have a collection, a bundle of nerve cells essentially that act as their central nervous system. Fuck, there's a name for it. Oh well, we can't go biology with this, but point is, as you crash through that blah 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 thing, and you continue, you feel the weight of your hammer fall through his head, through its center, crackling his outside just like it would a delicious, delicious covering of chocolate that's went ahead and hardened like a shell on your favorite vanilla ice cream. But instead of it being a nice, delicious treat, this salty, clamoring of splattered goop falls upon the floor and you as he becomes nothing more than a heap of shell, metal, and flesh.
That sounded so fucking cool and delicious.
And then, of course, Glugla became the national treat after you freed the nation from their tyranny.
Let's fucking go. I invented
There we go.
ice cream on that planet.
And Jar Jar Binks was there, of course.
Oh, fuck no.
Makes us so proud of you.
Alright, I actually do have...
Gloom, gloom. Yes.
I have a actually big question that involves Jar Jar
Oh, big
Binks here.
question.
Have you
Oh,
shitted yourself?
fitted.
Yeah, like have you shit yourself? But with a ED
How's
at
that
the
to
end.
do with Jar Jar?
He's a piece of shit.
Okay, just to say, I'm unsure if it's in the expanded universe or the current canon, but Jar Jar's father is a badass and ends up shipwrecked because his son sucks, and his son sucks so hard they both end up stranded on an island, and he straight up, I believe, he tries to kill Jar Jar. He tries to shoot him, and I think he also tries to self-terminate himself in pure shame and sadness. Because I remember there was a part of the comic where he's pointing the gun at his head and he's like one tear in his eye, like oh sorry. And then they both get rescued and it ends up happily ever after. But still, there's an entire comic all about how bad Jar Jar is.
Oh
And
god.
basically, with all that said, yes, of course, as every other human on this planet has done, I too have went ahead and self-defecated onto myself and my trousers. And unlike you, I was unable to bash it away with a hammer and call it ice cream.
But would you do it again though?
No!
Why not?
No! Why would I want to? Okay, so this story is scarring. This story had hurt me. Let me explain. I'm on vacation. First off, my mom, she's like, "Yo, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to this country. We're gonna go to this country, and it's gonna be for 1 week." And I was like, "Oh, that's sweet. That's so nice. I get to see our family. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fantastic time." Jump cut to me there. It's been half a month. I'm I'm upset. I ask her, I'm like, Mom, when I thought we were going home last week. And she goes, "Oh no, darling, no. We're staying here for 2 months. 2 months!
Two
My whole summer
months.
break gone. And I don't have electricity." So yeah. So there I was in this place where the electricity would come in and out. And I was a child and I had a really bad sweet tooth. So what would keep me happy was an abundance of American snacks that we would bring with us. Now, part of all those snacks was a jug of Kool-Aid. It was a jug of Kool-Aid. So, of course, you know, old happy grandma makes you a whole pitcher of Kool-Aid, and this is in a beautiful glass pitcher, nice with that curvature, with that handle, that elegant bulbous shape.
I'm kind of turned on right
O-
now.
On a nice hot day, and you got that condensation just dripping off the base of it.
Oh,
How could you say no? How could you say no? So we all get our glasses, we all get a cup, we're all, yeah, we all look like a goddamn Kool-Aid commercial, and I down it like nothing. Now, here's the thing.
Hmm.
Um, that Kool-Aid, it ain't made with no water through reverse osmosis. This is well tap water.
Oh
And
no.
in case you didn't know, if you go to another country and have the water and you don't drink it, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
So what happened? Oh, well, you think, "Oh, no, useless. Did you like have a really hard time and then you didn't make it in time?" No. No, members of this universe and this dimension. No. That's not what happened. You know what happened?
It exploded out of you.
Immediately after consuming that last refreshing drop. Yeah, it happened. It all came out. It all came out at
It just
once.
fucking slid out
All of
like
it.
a drawer.
All in, and do you remember I told you it wasn't me drinking this alone. It was all of us.
So
All
all
of
of
us.
you shitted
Me, the
yourself.
homies, the family. No, they were immune. They were immune,
Oh,
Josue. I was not. I was weak. And much like right now, I was now in my own juice. So I did what I had to
oh
do.
no.
Now, for a little more context, we were at little old grandma's house, which is at the base of a hill. Guess where I was staying? Guess where I was
At
staying,
the
Josue?
bottom of the hill.
At the top of
Oh
the hill,
no.
Josue. The very top of the hill. And did I mention that the hill was made up of rocks? Rocks, Josue.
Did you wipe with the rock?
No, Jose, I didn't wipe with the rocks. What I did was I had to climb the hill, every step sliding on rocks, till I went ahead and made it all the way to the top of the hill, knocked on the door, realized the front door was closed, so I had to go all the way around the house to the back door, walk in to the room, smelled it all up, looked at my mom in her eyes, and went like, Ma, Ma,
I shitted
I
myself.
shitted. I shitted, Ma.
I shitted, ma. I shitted myself. It was the most epic thing ever.
And so yeah, she went ahead and she got me a new pair. We did it, and that was that.
Yeah.
That was the story of how I involuntarily created what aggressively Coconut has now termed as Mount Hershey Square. That was that was how it happened. Now, for context, on the same trip, I peed blue. So it was a crazy time.
Okay,
Pretty
but
crazy
did you
time.
pee yourself? Did you pee yourself and it was blue?
No, 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 no. I didn't pee myself, thankfully. No, no, no.
Why?
Actually, it was blue, but when it was like in the toilet, it was blue. They eventually had me, they sent me to the hospital.
Oh no.
So when I peed in the cup, it was black.
Oh fucking my man's caught the plague.
And everyone was like, "Why did you not tell us?" I'm like, "Listen, this is the first time I've ever seen this. This is not how it normally comes out. This is an inside job. Clearly, the cup is laced with something and made it all black." But so yeah, that happened. Now, also on that same trip, on that same trip, so in the house where I was staying, it was like you could think of it as like the grand hall of the city of the not the city, the village. It was like a dirt village.
Yeah.
So everyone would congregate there. So the whole family, the whole extended family comes together to just, hang out in the living room. I don't know, in this small living room, everyone is there. So what did I do? Well, I had a really bad habit of eating lots of sweets.
Hmm.
So I would also had a secondarily bad habit of just putting those sweets in my pocket like a bank and then just walking around and eating stuff out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what was today's treat? Well,
Chocolate.
just as dark and as vividly creamy and dreamy as me, it was Oreos.
Oh,
So there it was, eating a bunch of Oreos. Yum, 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 yum. Delicioso. And I walk into the living room, and similar to that pea, similar to Mount Hershey, suddenly, just out of nowhere, I just stand in the middle of the room. Everyone's chatting, having their adult conversations, and I go, and from my mouth, out comes your darkness. I, I painted the cement floor into a void. It was just black.
it was
It
like
was
Vanta Black.
Vanta black paint spewed from my mouth onto the floor. And everyone went silent, looked at the floor, looked at me, and immediately my mom takes me to the room, asks me if I'm okay, while I hear whispers in the living room of everyone being like, yeah, yeah, he's possessed. We need to exorcise him.
Oh
He needs to
no.
be exorcised. Meanwhile, I'm in the other room looking like this, and they're half expecting me to be like, so of course the next day, they took me to they took me to the mountains, and they took me through this special path all the way up the mountains to a special temple, and in the temple they would do these dances, and there was a smoke and all this other stuff. It is exactly what you think it is. Like, it was wild. People wearing, first off, they were wearing all white. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, near the end of this ritual, one, like, I think it was my mom or something, she like just points at me and goes like, she just says, "It's like, yeah, he needs it. He needs it." And she just slightly pushes me forward. I am not moving. This is not my, I do not consent to this. And then a bunch of ladies in white, these huge towering adults, come and just pull me in and suddenly start dancing around me. And then there was music, and then all of a sudden, now this is a little sus. Now that I'm looking in the memory, now that I'm looking in the memory, a little sus. But a bunch of the ladies just start just like how do I
Like
say this?
rubbing on you?
Yeah, basically. They were like rubbing me like like a tube of toothpaste,
Oh
trying to get
no.
all the toothpaste out. So from toe to head, they're just like, "Dwah!" just pulling on flesh, just all the way to the top of my head. Saying they're "Chugga chugga bah, chugga chugga," and then they just threw me back to my mom and dissipated, and the smoke ended, and everybody went back home.
So so it sounds like Coconut's question was answered here. You got some sobadores, some massage people. Um Now I did want to ask, was this traumatizing for you?
No, man, no. I literally went like, well, as a kid, this was my inner thought. I was like, well, this is my life now, and just zoned out. It just happened. I just let it happen, and once it ended, I was like, thank God, let's go home. Hopefully, there's still light, and I can play some PlayStation 1. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I want to play some Crash Bash.
I'm gonna play some
After that,
Crash Bandicoot 3.
there we go. And as aggressively Coconut has suggested, no, obviously, you're not immune to all of the water. Please be careful out there. And no, good guess though. It was not El Salvador. It was not. And yeah, it did hurt. Now that I think about it, aggressive coconut bringing in all the memories. It did hurt. I remember. I was like, ow, damn. These guys really want this ghost out of me.
Wait. So it was in Mexico?
No, no, no.
It was El
Wasn't Mexico.
Salvador.
Wasn't El Salvador. Wasn't El Salvador.
Oh, I said
Good
Salvador.
guesses though. Oh,
Like
Salvador. Oh,
yeah, like
never
a
mind.
massage. Where was this? Where did this take place? And so I know not to drink the water.
It was Dominican Republic.
Okay. So if I ever go to the Dominican Republic and I live long enough to drink water, don't drink the water.
I mean, it's a little unavoidable, but yeah. Plus, I gotta say that it was a great time. Man. You know, we lived very close to the beach, so I'd walk to the beach. It was so cool because you could dig in the sand and reach the aquifer. Like you could find the water runoff from the mountains coming back to the beaches. It was the coolest lesson of the water cycle I could ever ask for. That water was cold. It was so nice.
So now as an adult, right, and with a little bit more interest in maybe perhaps some occult stuff, do you think it would have been cool to be possessed?
Listen, I hate
Listening.
to say it, but if it was the me now possessing younger me in that scenario, yo, I would have, would have played it up.
You would have been like, I'm
I
gonna
would have.
shit my pants. I'm gonna pee black into a cup. Just you wait.
No, I wouldn't have taken it in that
Started
direction.
throwing up black again. This isn't Oreos, this is your future.
No, bro, I would have been like, you know, like some, like, you know, like freaking, I don't know, I'm the cow demon. Moo! You know, it would have been some real good stuff. I would have really played it up for them. So that way they would feel like, you know, they'd be able to go and be like, you know, honey, I exercised a child today. I saved him. There was a cow demon in it. Can you believe that?
Una
You know,
vaca?
would have I would have let them go home feeling good about it, you know, versus the very uncomfortable child that was just standing there being shooketh and rubbed and shooketh. So yeah.
You know what happened at work today, dear? What happened, darling? I absolutely massaged the fuck out of a demon and motherfucker just went back to hell. Can you believe this? Can you fucking believe this?
I mean, you know what? I wish that was my work day. That would be fucking. That would be
Get
sweet.
some good money, man. All you gotta
Oh
do is
yeah.
just give people massages, bro. That shit kind of massages you back. You just
I
massaging someone,
wish.
some massage
Wish.
on your own hands.
Spiritual massages.
Virtual massages?
No, bro, no. And now we're getting into that weird virtual psychic stuff. Like, I remember there was one that he has like a stare. Like his whole thing is his stare is supposed to heal you, and so people paid for him to virtually have Zoom calls with you and just stare at you. He would just be staring into his camera, and you'd stare at him back, and that was supposed to heal you.
I mean,
So I don't want to be that guy.
there's gotta be like something to it, right? Like maybe it's just like psychology, like oh, if a person hasn't been looked at in a million years, and then some dude just stares at him, maybe it just like cheers him up, just like oh, I'm being looked at, I'm noticed.
I don't know. That'd make me be. I would be very uncomfortable.
Dude, I would just
Just.
record myself like while I'm playing like video games, and then like just now I have like an 8 hour video of me staring, and I would just like put that on the Zoom calls like through OBS virtual camera, and just
Put some nice, put some nice music, mute it, and just there you
yeah,
go.
and just
And just cut out
easy
all the parts
money.
where you die.
Yeah, just easy
Just,
money.
I mean, it's a good business model. Damn, I've really been missing out. The entrepreneurial spirit in you is strong. I'm proud.
Thanks, man. I live in America.
I was about to say, yeah, I was like, capitalism.
Capitalism.
What was it? Damn, I missed that. Let's not. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
So you're going through a bit of a rebranding, right? You're no longer the sage, but at the same time, you still kind of are. What exactly is a sage, and what's the difference between a sage and a wizard?
So, a wizard, I would argue, is someone who has taken the time to study the arcane arts. Go ahead and learn the ability to manipulate, master the arts of the arcane. So that way they may perform spells and the like.
Hmm.
Now, as far as a sage is concerned, personally, the way I see sages, a sage is more or less someone who has been, or rather, someone who has found or was gifted a secret to the universe, so to speak. So these are individuals who have now awakened, sort of very similar to Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah.
They've come across a bit of knowledge that has allowed them to understand, perhaps, or wield a part of those mysteries of the universe, and in doing so are now imbued with the powers of said mysteries. So now they're able to perform acts that, despite the fact to them, are just logical conclusions to their understanding of what is happening. To others observing, it seem to be beyond mythical and legendary.
Are there any like historical sages, like they show up in history, or is this just a like a fantasy term?
Arguably, we would say there are plenty of historical sages. Now, it all depends on what source you're going after and really what kind of mind you want to look at things. What was it? Was it John, or was it Nicholas? There was Nicholas Flamel, I believe it was. But then there was John. Oh man, John Kelly. There we go. There was also John Kelly. A long story short, I was really big into alchemy, and this was before like Full Metal Alchemist
Yeah.
came into my life. This is at the time where I literally wouldn't watch anime. I was like, too popular. I'm a hipster. So, of course, hipsters weren't a thing yet, but anti-culture was like not given its term yet. But point is, I read a book that essentially became like my alchemical Bible, and it was basically just the understanding of alchemy from like, start to finish to modern times, with a full understanding of how, or rather, most likely how a lot of these things were done, and how a lot of these tricks, because essentially that's what it was tricks that were performed, and then tales of the actual adepts. The adept alchemists were alchemists who proposedly actually transmuted lead into gold. So I was really into that, and seeing that, I believe it was like on the second page, the author defines alchemists as dreamers. They were essentially people who were dreamers. They had a vision and a desire, and they chased it, for their whole lives. And some of them supposedly, achieved it and actually did it. And of course, all their tales are full of all this mystery and whatnot because, for example, there was one that was a scholar of sorts. So he was well known and well documented in history. But at the exact same time, I believe it was Hioheim. I think it's the same name as Edward Elric's father. So it's the actual real life person whose that name is based on. He would walk around with a sword and was incredibly, a bit arrogant, so to speak. And supposedly, in the hilt of that sword, it was hollow, and that's where he kept his philosopher's stone. And then we had Nicholas Flamel, who would go around performing. He would constantly travel using the Philosopher's Stone and transmuting lead into gold. And he would go ahead and gift the Philosopher's Stone to certain individuals for certain reasons. And so, because he was constantly traveling, it was very hard to keep track of his whereabouts and what he was actually doing and gather actual evidence. So, he was very much like a ghost. Because inevitably, at the end of the day, if you could turn lead into gold, freaking everyone wanted you. They wanted you captured. They wanted to learn your secrets and whatnot. And that is also kind of what happened to Edward Kelly. Edward Kelly, he wrote all of his findings because he was a little more special. He went more towards the metaphysical. He would speak to angels and devils and write down the secrets that they would give him. And it was through that, purportedly, those secrets, that he was able to learn how to create the Philosopher's Stone and transmute lead into gold. Eventually, though, he was captured by a king, but he had made a deal with the metal worker, essentially the king's metal worker, because essentially he was making lead into gold, but he was actually just creating fool's gold and then bribing the metals expert, purportedly, to go ahead and make sure to tell the king that it was real gold, so that way he could fool the king into believing it. Eventually, of course, his ruse was discovered, and he was constantly told, "All right, gotta produce product, gotta bring out those angels and devils. Let's do it, because if not, you know what we're gonna do to you." And it was through a lot of his notes, his ramblings, and all of those quote unquote secrets and whatnot. Of reading them, it's very dense, very interesting, a very interesting read. That there are, quite a few number of interesting little truths and tidbits you can find in all of it. Like inevitably, I believe it was Harvard or MIT that actually went ahead and did it. They finally made lead into gold, and ironically, the key element to essentially act as a catalyst through the process turned out to be mercury, which ironically was in fact what a lot of people argued, a lot of contemporary alchemists argued. Well, not contemporary now, but contemporary back then, argued that was the key element into making lead into gold, which is why a lot of them got poisoned and went mad and all that stuff. It was because they were exposed to mercury all the. But the whole point is that mercury was this interesting liquid state of metal, and it was impure, but at the same time had its own purities. In essence, there's a whole circle, like this transmutation circle of like properties and whatnot, and it was the perfect endpoint to go ahead and catalyze this reaction. And if anyone's curious why it was led into gold in the first place, the reason why is because much like the tail, the snake eating its own tail, the Ouroboros, the end is the beginning, so to speak. So through alchemical means, one could argue that, how would I go ahead and say an actual accurate one so no random internet alchemist comes in and cuts me into 3,000 pieces. You could say, for example, that a rock is hard and made of minerals, and you could say that water is soft and kind of contains minerals. So you could say that using water, I can make a rock. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I get it. But the concept was that gold was the endpoint. It's what everything, all matter wanted to be. It wanted to be in its purest form, and gold was that purest form. And lead was seen as the farthest from the purest form. It was brittle. It was constantly breaking apart. It wasn't a very particularly, I mean, well, it was stable, but it was heavy. It was all these sort of things. So at the end of the day, they went, oh, well, if we want to go ahead and make gold, we have to get the thing closest slash farthest away from gold, which was lead. So thusly, you could technically reverse the process of nature, transmute it, and turn lead into gold. All right, my TED Talk's over.
Yo, that was actually pretty based. I actually enjoyed it. It was like I was
Well,
watching a YouTube video about it.
I'm sorry. I'm positive 4 billion people. Well, okay, I'm really exaggerating here, but I'm sure 10 people will watch this, do a quick Google search, and be like, "Yo, this useless guy's fucking useless. No shit. Come on, Nicholas Flamel. It was Flanel, and also it was Nicolas. I don't know.
Nicolas.
But quick thing. If anyone wants to be a pretend alchemist, what a lot of people did is they took lumps of lead or coal, and they would go ahead and make a little burrow, a little hole into it, put a little bit of gold in there, and then cover the hole with wax. Then they would put a secret sauce powder, which was supposed to be the philosopher's stone. They put it on the stone, then put it in an oven where no one can see what's going on inside the oven. Then, using the pan that they put it in, they would roll it around, then move around the pan. So that way, what ended up happening was the wax would melt, the gold would melt, and then it would go ahead and encase the a bit of the coal or the bit of the lead, or in the case of coal, it would just burn entirely, and then you'd be left with a little bit of gold. or a little bit of lead encased, or rather, yeah, gold encased lead. There we go. And so it'd be like, whoa, you turned the lead into gold, or whoa, now there's a little bit of gold. This is incredible. So that's how a lot of people faked it. And that was in that book, the same book I found when I was in middle school. And it was what really got me into, alchemy in the first place. So then when I finally did get into anime, I was all over Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
And Salt, hey Salt, miss you.
So this was basically the ancient version, if ancient even applies. What applies to ancient nowadays? Is it like the medieval times, like type of ancient, or is it like dinosaurs type of ancient? Like I don't really know, but
Probably me.
I'll call it
Probably you and me.
ancient.
We're both ancient
I'm
now.
pretty ancient too.
In this modern time, hell yeah, we're ancient. But
Um,
I think,
so this was
I
like
mean, yeah.
basically like back in the day type of like NFT scams, right? Now that's all brought up Bitcoin, they give you something, they tell you that it's like so valuable and all this shit, and it's just
No,
worthless.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, no. People would go around like snake oil salesmen. They would go around selling their quote unquote philosopher's stones all the time. But it ended up being outlawed. Like alchemy was outlawed. I believe it was in England for a while. I oh, excuse me, if I remember right, because of that, these people were just losing money to it. At the end of the day, these people were gaining the money, but they were also on the run. So it's not like they were putting it back into the economy. They would bolt with their money constantly. And
Based
so they ended
alchemist destroying capitalism in its infancy.
So there we go. Oh, well there we go. Yeah, we got that answer to ancient immediately. I see, I can't wait for Salt to Google anything I said and be like, this guy's an idiot. But
No. If
where
Salt
was
if Salt calls you an idiot, I'm banning him. You heard it here
No!
first, Salt.
No!
See, this guy is
um
based. There you go. I'm still banning you though. I'm
uh
kidding. I'm kidding. Um,
but yeah, yeah, There
but
was
oh, go ahead.
there was funny enough, it was through alchemy, or you know, there's a multitude of factors obviously, but a lot of people can say that alchemy was a big contributor to the advancement of chemistry and medicine, because I believe there was one alchemist I read in the book that mainly, people were resolving wounds and stuff by putting in salves, like all these oils and these ointments into wounds. And it was just like herbs and shit. Like sometimes people would just be like, got some of the dirt nearby, got some of the blood of your enemy, got some herbs. Boom, put that in there. You're good to go. Come on, let's go. Get up. I know you lost a leg, but it's gonna close up real soon. It burns. Yeah, it burns because it's gonna close up. Let's go. So what there was one adept alchemist who ended up being a medical, I think it was a medic. Yeah, it was like a field medic, and he went ahead and moved in with advancements for treating injuries and whatnot. And purportedly, that's where the whole we could start jumping into the world of the elixir of life and whatnot. That's where they started talking about, oh, gold and immortality. Which, really quick, I hate to go but jump back into the alchemy thing, but to explain the gold, the philosopher's stone, and the immortality thing, the elixir of life thing, is the idea is all matter was trying to become gold, right? That's the end point because it's eternal, it's pure, blah 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 blah. So the idea was that using the philosopher's stone, you could then create an elixir that would transpose the traits of gold onto your being. So, despite you being made of flesh, you would have the traits of gold. And because gold is an endpoint for all matter, you're now immortal. Where are you going to go from there? You can't go down, you can't go up, you're done. You did it. Congratulations, you're immortal. And that's where the whole concept of the elixir of life came.
So people were like thinking that gold was the end. I thought that it was coal. Or what is it
No, no,
called?
no.
Uh,
So
carbon is, or is that the
let
beginning of life?
Lead. So the idea was lead is its impurest form, the end point, not the end point, it's the start, so to speak. Now, I know thinking that way, you're like, oh, so that's where life begins or whatnot. It's like, no. This is purely a chemical and alchemical sort of property. Like we're looking at traits now. So there were a multitude of traits because back in the day, I'm sure you're very familiar with the concept of someone saying like, "Oh, let's say you're sick, right? Let's say you have a runny nose and a fever. Then you are wet and you are hot. Then in order to treat you, I need to give you something the opposite of hot, cold. I have to give you something the opposite of wet, dry. So I have to give you something cold and dry to alleviate your traits. So that way, giving you and treating you that way, you balance back to the center, back to neutral. So alchemically, it was like you're an extreme of one of these traits. And what I had to do was introduce the counter trait to bring you back to a neutral state. So
Um,
yeah, all these materials were similar. Like they also had their own states and whatnot. So the extreme opposite end of gold was lead.
but why though?
Man, I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna bring you a freaking Scantron. I'm gonna bring you some pages, and we're gonna have a whole test at this point. But I don't want to bore anyone with
No,
freaking drawings, and I'll be
s-
like, all right, guys, look, let's draw this together. Let's do the exercise.
so like I have heard, right, that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the material inside stars
Mm-hmm.
uh slowly turns into iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
we're switching from like alchemy and all and this stuff to like,
Nuclear fission.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me people from the Middle Ages were stupid, is what you're saying?
No. In fact, they were rather smart. It was a movement forward.
Yeah.
Like our capacity and desire for knowledge is never ending. And at the end of the day, like even now, we're still looking for ways to become immortal. I mean, there are something called telomeres, and I'm
Who
sure
is
everybody learns
we?
it.
I want to die like right now.
GG. GG no re.
GG Nori. But go ahead, go ahead.
The right, telomeres. So your DNA, when every time we all learned about mitosis. We all
Yeah,
learned about your cells dividing to make more cells.
yeah.
So in the process of all the mechanical stuff going on during mitosis, your DNA does kind of get damaged. You sometimes lose some of it gets damaged, etc., etc. And
Mhm.
so eventually you will damage your DNA to the point where bad things will happen. So your body has this really trusty thing called telomeres. You can think about it as like an extra length of wick. So let's say your job was to light a candle, but you don't ever want any of the candle wax to melt. What would you do? Well, you make a longer wick. And that's kind of how it works. You essentially have a really long wick when you're born. You have all these telomeres, these long telomeres, and through constant division, you lose little bits of it, damage little bits of it. So you get too much of a suntan one day, you lose more telomeres, etc., 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 until finally, eventually, your telomeres become very short, and then DNA damage is more likely to occur. So there's been research as to increasing the size of telomeres to see if that would decrease the effects of aging. If I recall, it didn't really come out to do much, but it was an interesting look at things, and it's even now we're still trying to do little things to become immortal and become fucking gods of the universe and masters of time. So yeah, a really long wick. See, Salt's got it,
So,
even if it is a quote.
suppose that experiment, you said it didn't really do much, right? But suppose it
Hmm.
worked, right? suppose that it actually kept the body from
No,
aging.
no.
What do you
Uh-huh.
think would have happened to our our brain? Like clearly this will prevent physically aging, right? Is kind of where
Hmm.
I'm getting at. Like, oh
Yeah.
my back type of shit. Um, so do you think that our brain itself will continue to age and we'll have like a bunch of young looking people with Alzheimer's?
So
If it
the
were to
I
work.
the idea would be that you wouldn't go through regular neural degradation
Mhm.
because of the telomere. But the other argument is that people say that you don't get you. Oh, so this was a big thing when we were young. Do you remember where they were like, "Oh, you don't get your brain cells back"? So very often, whenever we did a bad decision or we got hurt, we'd be like, "Well, I lost some brain cells." We
Yeah.
always used to say that stuff, and now no one says it anymore because we were wrong, okay?
We
We
were
learned
wrong,
we
people.
make we make brain cells, they're more, we make more. It happens while we're sleeping. Now there are some that yes, they're permanent, they're supposed to just stay there and they do repair and whatnot. And yes, if you lose them, yeah, you're kind of messed up. It's kind of like if a spear goes through your brain, you're a little scrambled, buddy. Now, thankfully, the brain does have elasticity, so despite having a spear through your brain, you might still function completely normally. But that's part of the mystery of being a brain. Now, as far as your question is concerned, the idea would be that your brain would stay normal. You wouldn't age. You would stop the aging process and you'd be fine. But the biggest problem is that, yeah, inevitably, what would end up happening is, yeah, that is what would happen. We would have bodies that would age slower, but our minds would continue to age normally, or at least a little slower. But inevitably, that's been our biggest limiting factor as far as age is concerned. That and heart disease.
Do you think that our genetics carry
Yes.
memories and stuff like that?
Oh, okay. That went a different direction than I thought it would.
Wait, wait,
I
wait.
don't
Where
think
did
it
you think we were
carries.
going?
I thought you were gonna say if your genetics determined. I can't even remember. Oh yeah, if it was partially determining like your lifespan and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Pretty known.
I
But
mean, you have genes that determine. She is laughing so hard over there. And it's like I'm thinking, it's like, is she crying? And then I realized like, no, she's probably looking at like Attack on Titan meme. I'm sure my phone is like, vroom, vroom. I'm gonna be like, great, thanks for the Attack on Titan meme. Anyway, let me just say really quick, yes. There we go. Where was I? Right. If we carry memories, no. But it is very arguable that we carry behavior. See, there it goes. There it goes. We got the Instagram. We got an Instagram link. It's here. She's still over there giggling. I'm sorry for laughing so hard. Well, we hear you. Don't play it on stream. She says don't play it on stream. I'm really,
Play it on
I'm
stream.
really.
Play it on
Are you?
stream. Do it. Like hold it up to the microphone. Do it. I want to hear it.
No. No.
What is it?
Fucking hell. It's
What?
it's one of these stupid kids toys nowadays. You know those toys that you speak into and it like records what you say and then
Yeah.
it does like it repeats it back to you in a special way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little toy that plays music and dances and repeats whatever you say. So of course, some dude bro in the mall goes up to it and goes, and then it records it. And so now it's just dancing, going, yeah, she says, I warned you. Yeah, thanks.
It's okay. We didn't hear it.
It literally dances. Like it's horrible. It's horrible. It's
Oh,
absolutely horrible. And it claps. So it
oh
makes a
god.
clapping sound while it's going. So you know where it's going.
Oh,
You know what happened in
it's
that
getting
store.
censored. the crisp what is it? The
Oh,
crisp
the
voice.
Christmas censoring.
It's just like none of that nonsense, and you hear you talking, and then it just like fades out.
No uwu,
No,
no uwu
ooh,
nonsense. It's getting
no
rid of all of
senpais
it.
here.
There we go. No araharas.
No
All
ara.
gone. But yeah,
The
I don't
reason I
even.
was asking about like do our genes carry memories or things like that was because so there's this show on Netflix, right? And I want to plug it cuz I really liked it. It's called Altered Carbon, right? So it's like this
Mhm,
dude it's like a
mhm.
cyberpunk setting, right? This
Mhm.
dude is like when they put you in prison, right? They take you like out of your like your what would you say like the you that isn't your body is like the you that's your brain, like they take
Uh-huh.
yourself out of
Yeah, yeah.
like your body and they lock you up in a virtual prison.
Oh yeah, I think I know
And
what you're talking
so
about.
your body's basically open to being like free real estate for like some rich dude, right? If he
Mhm,
dies he
mhm.
can come back in your body or whatnot.
I think I've seen that.
So
Mhm.
so it's kind of like Sisyph. Is it is whose fucking ship was it?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
The ship.
if they were to take you out, right, of your body and they
Hmm.
put you in a different one,
Yummy.
are you still technically fully yourself? Like I get that like oh if I had back pain like now I might not have back pain so I might be in a better mood or whatnot. Like I'm not talking about like that. I mean like genetically like because it's not Theseus, ship of Theseus. Thank you so
Don't
much, Salt. Thank you. I was about to say Sisyphus. I think
genius.
that's the guy that
Sisyphus yeah, it's the one with the boulder, right?
yeah, dude, that dude is based. He keeps rolling
Yeah,
that shit
man.
up there, never gives
So
up.
strong.
I want to be
Strong
like him.
boy. Me too. I
Um,
also want my eyes ripped out by birds.
yeah, and my liver eaten by an eagle.
Hell yeah.
Let's
America
fucking
liver.
wait. Is the liver guy Sisyphus or is that Prometheus? So many
Did
S's in history, bro.
did you see it?
Yeah, I see. Ship of D's nuts.
Oh, that's Prometheus. Yeah, we're
DC's
messing
nuts.
up.
Yeah, we're just fucking up here.
Yeah,
We're just
man,
like,
we're
was it this guy or
geniuses.
that
We're
guy? But what about
philosophers.
this other guy? Was it this guy or that guy? Oh, it was the other guy. Um, but yeah, back to it, right? So
Yeah,
my real
yeah, yeah.
question is like, if if I'm taken out of my body right now, right? If
Mm-hmm.
me and you switch like basically bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the new body eventually like apart from like the privileges that I would have of being a handsome ass motherfucker, um,
Please.
what would exactly would like? Do you think that that would like change me like as the I'm gonna say psyche. I don't even know if that's the same fucking word that's
I
supposed to
get what
be.
you're saying. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
but
Uh-huh.
would that change me or
So I would argue from a multitude of different levels because this is a multifaceted question.
yeah?
The instant that whatever you are that makes you who you are is transferred into my body, you are still you. And it would be very much the same for me as well. This is what I would argue. Now, your existence in my body would maintain your individuality. I think you would still be you. The problem becomes the process of living in my body and how long you stay in it. Because at that point, you now begin to question, are the actions you're performing with this body and the things you are saying purely denoted from your personality, or is it because of the body you're in? So, the argument I would make for that is if you go from being Hosway to now embodying Godzilla, you, despite being still Hostway, are definitely not going to be Hostway anymore. You're going to be like, yo,
I'm about
let's
to tear
go.
up a city.
Yeah, yeah, you're not. And then I would ask you, okay, as Hostway, would you go around terrorizing a random coastal city?
I mean, I'd probably like still like fuck up a city, but only while I'm on my way to like destroy something like Trump Tower or something.
There we go. But as fucking Godzilla, you're like, it's for real estate. You go for it. Bro, again? Bro, made these nuts.
I pinned the wrong one.
Oh, man.
I want everybody to come in here and
You're
know.
penning. Is this a new thing we can do?
Yeah, it's a
Can we
new
just,
thing.
hell yeah.
Um,
Everybody comes in and just like shit, but
so
what the?
so here's where I'm gonna twist it on you a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, right?
All right, twist
So
it,
my
put it
brain would
in,
still
twist it.
stay in my body. We're just talking about like transferring consciousness, right?
Okay.
Did you take this into account before answering?
Yes.
Okay. So given that I have a let's just call it a chemical imbalance in my head, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now that I'm basically using your brain, would
You
I
still have
still
a
be
chemical
depressed?
imbalance.
Yeah, would I still be depressed? Or would you eventually like start noticing like all this other
So,
shit and start being depressed?
so I'm assuming the basis, the prompt is you go into a body that is not chemically imbalanced.
Yeah, I'm basically wait, what are you trying to say with that? Are you saying I would still be fucked if I used your brain?
Oh yeah, oh, easy, of
Oh
course. You
fuck yeah.
think everything's okay over here? Ah, look at me, bro. You don't shake like this because things are okay. Look at this. This is too much water. I'm dead basically already. Oh, Marumo, shinderu.
None. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if I were to go into a body that was not chemically imbalanced in the brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I open my eyes, when I become aware,
Mm-hmm.
am I still depressed or does myself need to adjust? Or do I fuck up that brain and it becomes chemically imbalanced?
I would think that you're still you. You're no longer chemically imbalanced. And then those aspects or facets of your phenotypical actions, in other words, the way you express yourself and whatnot, are lost. But that doesn't make you not you anymore.
Based.
I mean, any day now, randomly, your brain can just decide, you know what? We're gonna push the lever, and then it's everything's back to normal. That doesn't mean you're not you anymore. You're just constantly changing. You're ever evolving. Identity is such a weird thing. Like, here's a classic nightmare of mine.
Okay,
I love the concept of immortality. Love that.
I don't.
Dig that. I would love to do that because I see the thing is you stop being human once you're immortal, obviously,
Hmm.
because humans are defined by their limited time on Earth, and that propels you to act the way you do because you don't have forever. You're limited. So, with that in mind, I'm talking about like you cut off my hand and a new hand grows, or I can just put the old hand and put it back on and it just mends itself back together. That immortality. I'm talking anime immortality. Like I get put in a blender and I'll just form myself. Now, what's terrifying is if like somebody cut my head off, right?
Hmm.
Now, let's say someone cuts my head off and I black out, right? I'm gone. And then they put the head really fast back on my body and I come back. Am I still me or is that a different me now? Like, did I die? Like, I won't know. I'll still be me, but whether I'm the same me who was alive before or not, I don't know. So that shit messes with me. That's where identity I go like, oh man, the original me is like once you go into fantasy land, the rules gone. Identity rules are gone. Like I'm like I don't know what to do anymore. Like I'll get sad just being like I don't did I who am I? And it could be the same me. I could still be the same me just blacked out before and I'm still like I don't know. Yes, I think you'd still be yourself, but I feel that would be develop a sense of bodily dissociation. I think that also applies to this. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, what? And then similarly, the concept of like, what if someone cuts my head off and then like take me really far away and like the blood is draining out of my head and then I see a new head form? Is that is that a new me that's going to embody that new body, or is that the same me? Is my consciousness traveling? Is it also being restored in some way? That goes more into like the science of what consciousness is, and we don't really fully understand that yet either. So if we could, maybe I'd have a definitive answer to this. But yeah, terrifying. That's true horror for me.
All right, I'm about to hit you with basically the plot of one of my favorite bedtime stories, which is
Yeah,
not like a typical like folk story or whatever. It's
El
by a
Turco.
YouTuber named shit, let me see. It's Mistiverse.
Yes.
So, Mistiverse tells the story of a distant future, but not too distant, in which we've already begun colonizing Mars, right? And so the basically the technology of teleportation has been pretty much kind of implemented to get us between these two places,
Hmm.
Earth and
Hmm.
Mars. And so the way it works is you enter the, I guess like you could think of it as a pod or like a station, and you are basically deconstructed at the
Hmm.
atomic level, or you could say subatomic level, just to be safe, right? Um,
Hmm.
and you are reconstructed back on Mars identically. Now, I want to stress that word. It is identical. It
Hmm.
is. I go through it and I come out on Mars and I'm the same me, right?
Hmm.
Suppose that there's a malfunction, right?
Hmm.
So now I'm not gonna do me. Now I'm doing you, right?
Okay.
Koro's going into, or I'm gonna just say narrator because I don't want to call you useless. You're not useless.
No, no. For my friends, if you want to, you call me use.
Use. I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use you either.
It's the exact opposite of useless. I have a use.
Okay, okay,
It's the best
use.
thing you can call me.
You know what? Now I kind of want to call you useless because that means I'm not using you. I'm
Damn.
just kidding. Okay, but let's suppose that you go
Beyond.
into the teleporter, right?
Beyond.
And you end up on Mars.
Beyond.
But
Yeah, huh? I'm on
unbeknownst
Mars.
to you, I don't know if that's the word, but unbeknownst to you, on Earth, there was a malfunction. And on Earth, you were there wondering
Hmm.
what just happened. You know? Like the
Hmm.
teleporter didn't work on Earth. But on Mars, you already came out and you're going about your day getting ready to fucking slave away for
La
Elon
la
Musk
la
or
la la.
whatever.
Hmm.
So there's two of you now at an atomic level. So on Earth, it had to deconstruct you, but because it failed, it reconstructed you. And on Mars, it reconstructed you as well.
Hmm.
Now, which one of those is you?
So the one, just to repeat, what happened to the one on Earth again?
Okay, so the
It
way that the
de
teleporter works is that it has to deconstruct you,
deconstruct and reconstruct. Yeah.
and reconstruct. So
So
it
it just
has both of
reconstructed both.
them, both of the endpoints
Uh-huh.
have the same ability.
Yes, 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 yes.
So in case of an error, it'll reconstruct you where you are.
Yes.
So
Okay, got it. So we're both reconstructed at the exact same point in time,
yeah,
through the exact same process.
yeah,
We come into existence the same way.
yep,
So the question is, which one is the real one?
yes.
Neither.
So what happened to you?
I would say neither are me any.
So would you say that you died?
Not exactly. So death, I think death itself is rather complicated when it comes down to it, especially when we have this sort of scenario. Classically, when your existence ends and there's no other host ways, you die. It's all over. It's gone. That's it. You know, we can finally put that label. Dead. Death has happened. Now, I would think individually,
Mhm.
the death of who I was before, or rather the person I was before, died when that happened during that malfunction.
Mhm.
Because I exist with the knowledge that I am the only me there is, and the world exists with that law in place. If there were two of me, my existence would drastically change who I am, what I would do, etc.
Mhm.
You know? So the moment those two people exist, I died. This is my new existence. I am reborn as these two separate individuals. And now here's a second problem. Some people already have plans for if they're two versions of themselves. I am one of those people.
Okay, perfect. So, next up. This isn't part of the story, but
Uh-huh.
pick one of them. Pick
Okay.
one of the
I'm the one
bodies
on
to
Earth.
inhabit. You're
I'm
the
the
one
one
on
on
Earth.
Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and explain to us your plan if this situation happened.
So first off, you gotta ask, happened, yada yada yada. Eventually, they tell you, oh, yeah, it was a malfunction. You were recreated. No, no, no. It's like, oh, okay, all right. So I'd want to go to Mars now, and it's like, well, not so fast. Sorry, they'd be like, well, not so fast, honey. We have a little bit of a situation. I'd be like, well, what are you talking about, man? I'm perfectly fine. And they'd be like, no, no, Sonny, you don't understand. There's two of you now. And I'd be like, well, what? What are you talking about? There are two of me. Well, you see, Sonny, there are two of you now. One is in Mars and one is here. I was reconstructed in both places.
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck.
Yeah, you were
And
reconstructed in both places, see? Yeah.
at that point, I would then have to go find my Mars version, and unfortunately, I would have to kill him. Have to kill him. That's
Okay.
just that's the law. And then the Mars version, if they ever find out before I'm able to get to them, they
Mhm.
would be like, "Oh shit, no, I have to kill him."
Yeah.
And
So
that's what happens.
that's your decision on this. You would have
It's
to.
really I hate it. I wish we could work together, but there can only be one. Call
Wouldn't
it
you
ego.
feel like maybe like talking things out and deciding which one will continue as the useless narrator and which one would be a new person and have to create their own life and things like that?
I always say I wish I had shadow clones, but those are shadow clone rules. This is
Shadow
real
clone.
people.
This is real life.
If it's real people rules, it just never works out. It never works out.
So that's
The
how you
the
would solve the
the
issue. You
issue,
just
the
kill
problem, the
him.
problem, the biggest problem with the issue of identity and self is then it becomes an issue not only just like socially, illegal. Like, what is mine? What is theirs? How do we distinguish the two? What stops this person from being like, that's my wife now too. I love her too. And I'm like, yeah, me
True.
too.
True.
Well, I'm not sharing. But I mean, we can do cool. No, I don't care about the cool stuff. I don't care about it. You going down, buddy. You know, it's just, and then it's not only that. It's just everything. You have to share your whole existence. You, ironically, in more of you becoming part of this world, you've become less of yourself. So instead of allowing my life to go to madness, we both have this prearranged agreement that it's like, you know what, it is what it is. If the copy wins, they win. If the other instantaneous version of myself wins, it wins. It is what it is. We accept it because as long as there's just one, and you know what? If the other one kills the other, we're like, hey, you were the better one. Good, we got an upgrade. Enjoy.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Um, so murder, right? So after killing yourself, do you think you should have to serve some sort of like sentence for murder? Because
I
you're
mean,
both really
obviously we gotta
you.
we gotta Well, see, that goes back to the legality. It all gets sticky because then it's like, do we get like a state sanctioned duel because it's consensual on both ends, and then that happens,
What if it isn't
or is it a
consensual
crime
on
of
both
passion?
ends?
Oh, that's the thing. I know me.
It would be
Me,
consensual.
me, yeah, me is all about me is like I if me doesn't consent, it's because they don't want it to be known as a time and place. They want to be like, nah, we can't let this be consensual. Listen, let's go write up some paperwork. You meet up with your lawyer. I'll meet up with a different lawyer because obviously we have the same lawyer. We'll draft some stuff up and we'll meet up tomorrow and we'll have some other duel some other way because I already know you're trying to find an advantage and all this. Yeah, of course I am. All right, okay. And then the moment one of us turns our back, I got you. I got you. You really thought I was gonna let you do this fair and square? So yeah, I don't trust me. I
Fucking
don't trust me
wild.
at all. It's this is why.
Man, that's pretty
It was
fucking wild, dude.
it was very yes, it was very controversial. Me and a bunch of friends were at a table and we spent 2 hours everyone calling me crazy and everyone being like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I just can't trust him. What do you want from me?
What do
He's
you want
evil.
from me?
I can't. There just can't be. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like an ego trip or whatever. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Two of me? No, impossible.
Alright, I just hit you up with some claps, baby. That shit was fantastic. I was actually a lot more interesting than I would have answered. I would just been like, I don't know, man. I'd just probably let him
Wait, you're
go
still
out
there?
and have his own life.
Oh,
I yeah.
oh, there you are. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
you
my
cut out
bad.
for 3 seconds. I was like, no,
Okay.
no, my friend, my Tomodachi.
Yeah, no, I just hit you up with some claps. That was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
interesting, dude.
I was gonna be like, when you walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh, please, don't go.
All
Anyway,
right. So now that
yes.
we're lightening things up a little bit, right? We're coming out of a little
Self murder.
existential hole.
Self murder. Hell yeah, let's go.
Um, so there's an application on the internet, right? And it's known as Dice Cord, if I'm pronouncing Discord, right? And so on this application, you can friend request people, right?
Ooh.
You can send a little request, and you're allowed to, depending on the person's settings, you can add a little message on there. Um, Rumor has it that you received one of these
Ooh.
requests on Discord, and I wanted
You
to
don't
know if
say.
you could share a little bit about it and tell us what happened.
Oh, is there a link to that or anything?
Yeah, you told me to ask you about it.
Oh, shit. Wait, oh no. I asked for this. How am
You
I
forgot
how
about
am I
it?
blanking out? How am I blanking out? Uh
Um, if you pull up Discord on your phone, and
yes.
scroll up, it's there.
There.
Here,
There.
I can pin it maybe.
Oh my god. I'm very interested. This is so exciting. I forgot what it is. It's your boy, Skinny Pete.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy Skinny Penis.
Oh! Oh wait, are you talking about are you talking about the message?
Yeah,
No.
you don't want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about it. Oh yeah. So I've got I've got a Discord for my streaming stuff and my social media stuff and all of that. And a I have it set so that just no rando can just, spam my inbox with Discord messages. So sometimes if we don't share our Discord or we're not friends, like you gotta request to send me a message. You gotta be like, hey buddy, I want to talk to you. And I'll be like, oh yeah, 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 cool. Let's go, let's talk. So of course, Discord, full of their scams and stuff. You gotta stop. You don't want to be scammed. You don't open the wrong DM. So one day checking my request, and I see this person, and in the profile picture is this random anime girl. You know, it's like this random anime girl. Their name is like nondescript anime girl name, and the message is heart emoji, heart emoji. Oh, hold on. Let me. Hi, sexy baby. You looking good. Dot 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 dot. Who is your favorite girl? Down finger emoji. Click the link, all caps, bold, down emoji to touch her booty. Dot dot dot. And then immediately says, ignore or accept DM. I chose the former. I was like, not putting up with this. Uh-uh. So I left it there. I didn't click ignore. I chose to ignore it. So then it's been a long time. I haven't streamed in a year, and I come back to my Discord. I'm like, oh man, I miss everybody and all these things. And I look at my pending messages because I'm like, I still have a pending message. Who could it be? So their name now. Well, I shouldn't be throwing out names, but their name has changed, and their profile has changed. And now, oh God, it is the picture of what you would imagine the Oreo demon that possessed me in Dominican Republic looked like. This man is as pale as Jeff the Killer. Yeah, I use that reference. I'm old, whatever. And he's wearing a black shirt with some red writing, smiling with his weird ass mustache. Too much shadow, too much contrast. And now the message reads the same, but I don't read it the same way. It reads, "Hey, sexy baby, you looking good. Dot, 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 dot. Who's your favorite girl? Click the link to touch her booty." And then it just dot, dot, dot. Ignore or accept DM. I continued to just ignore this, but occasionally, if I ever want a quick kick of just what do you call it? Adrenaline
Terror.
and pure terror. I click on my pending messages. Then I check them out. And I go, yeah, yeah, if I want to be ever chopped up into 12 pieces, all I gotta do is click this accept DM and click this link.
Yo, give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up, but I gotta do a
You're
thing
gonna
over
pull
here.
it.
Yeah, I need to save it and stuff. So let me
Bro,
let me just fucking pull it up.
do it. Do it. Do it.
It'll only take me a second.
Well, as we're taking this split second, oh, if you guys want to know an artist I really enjoy, an artist I really, really do enjoy listening to, I can only recommend him so many times. He's incredible. He's the best in the game. His name is Jazz Emu. Jazz Emu, great guy. Grooviest tunes you'll ever hear while you have an amazing time busting a good laugh over it. A laugh. I said laugh. You degenerates. Anyway, but it's fantastic. He does such good things. If you want to check out some of his newer stuff that I feel like is a really good gateway into all of his other stuff, I highly recommend his one of his newer hit singles known as "Still Waiting." It's fantastic.
What's he waiting on?
Bro, I'll give you a little piece. So he starts this thing up with like, "I'm a patient man, but there's one thing I've been waiting for my whole goddamn life. My eyes are aching, man. I can't blink just in case it falls when I close my eyes. I know I should let go, but there's a part of me that still hopes it could do it. But every time it gets close, it kind of bounces off both walls. I'm still waiting for the DVD logo to hit the corner of my TV." So there we go.
And also,
Show it.
I have it up already.
Show it to them.
So it says as follows, as you heard before. Hi, baby. Looking good. Who's your favorite girl? Click the link pointing down emoji to touch her booty.
Bro, I want to know what the whole message says so bad. I
Do
want to
we
hit
do we
accept.
find out live?
No, God, no, I
It's
can't.
probably just a link like right after that.
Bro, I'm gonna get like put on a list or something. I don't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't click on it.
I fear. I truly do fear. I it was until very recently. I don't even know how, but I checked my direct messages and Discord's doing this thing where it warns you now if you ever had a DM from someone who's a little sus. And I looked through my messages and I was like, "Oh, I've never talked to this person before. Who is this?" And I hover my mouse over them and it says user is suspected to be a part of an online halal organization. Please report any suspicious activity to
Halal?
Discord staff. Yeah.
What does halal
Yeah.
mean?
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna look this up. I'm checking on my phone real quick.
I don't know.
Some Discord, and then he said this
Halal?
user is
I'm
suspected
gonna try
to
to
be.
my galaxy board.
Oh God. Okay, there is a different word that popped up while looking it up,
No, okay.
but I'm gonna replace that with halal.
Okay, all right. Well, concerning.
But yeah, the word that popped up for me was the a word with a T and ending in
Well,
errorist.
well then. So yeah,
Um,
that's a thing.
yeah,
I'm
that's kind of scary.
very, yeah, man, very confused. I'm just like, who, who is this? Why?
There's people among us. It's like this person was seen on the fucking January 6th protest, quote unquote protest. Oh shit!
I don't know, man. There's a lot of those now. The messages are everywhere. They're all over the place. I have no idea what it is.
I got the settings set so that they gotta be part of a Discord community that I'm in, as well as a what's it called?
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Yeah,
Gotta do one of those.
I
That's
used
a
to
good
get a lot of
idea.
those messages too, bro. Do you remember? Do you still get messages randomly? Like I haven't been on my PS4 in a while.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
That shit is
Randomly,
wild.
randomly in a group of like 300 random users, and they're like, "Hey,
Hey there, cutie pie.
put your credit card information right here. Let's start a train.
Let's
Who
start a
wants to, who wants to start it?" And it's like, "Oh, put my credit card in," and as if and it's obviously the same person, just as a different user. And it's
Yeah.
like, "All right, and who else is gonna put it? Who else is a wild, crazy, fun guy?"
I'm just wacky like that.
Bro, it's
Holy
I
shit.
can't. I mean, I've had some really good PSN messages.
Mhm.
I am so sad because it was on my PS3,
Yeah.
and that's back home. That's with the little ones and stuff. And I wish I could just look at it for a little bit to read those messages. I had such good hate mail. Oh, so good those days. So good.
Yeah, shit, if we ever do this again, I hope you find a way to get those messages. One of them might have been me.
No, no, I doubt it. I doubt it. I used to do this really cute, fun thing. Because again, I really like the Souls series.
Mhm.
So what I would do is I'd play Dark Souls, and I hated because this would happen all the time, right? You'll be playing the Undead Parish, the first area in Dark Souls, walking around. You get invaded, and some random naked guy will roll up to you, flick his fingers at you. You'll burst into flames and die
Hackers.
immediately.
Yep.
Happens all the time. No, not even hackers. Legit stats. Like you could do that legit. You stay level 1, you make it well, you don't stay level 1. You stay whatever starting level you are at. You beat the game, you level up your pyromancy flame, and then you could just go around nuking beginners because you're level whatever and you're within their range.
I'm
That
kind of
shit's just
guilty of this in Bloodborne. So I know how to get kind of to the end like just kind of sequence breaking a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So when I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
back
the
to
werewolf.
Central Yarnum,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm part of
It's
the
okay.
problem.
No, it's
As
okay. It's
Taylor
okay.
Swift has said, it's me. Hi, I'm
But
the problem. It's me.
but what I would do is I would do the same thing. I'd get to the end of the game, get all the items, get all the stuff, and then come back to the beginning. And if you recall, in Dark Souls 1, there was like this like kind of like church area near the end of the first area, the Undead Burg, right? It's where it would lead up to the gargoyles, if you recall.
You gotta
So
ring the
in this
bells.
church, yeah. So in this church area, I would invade beginners. But I wouldn't invade as some ninja flipping, katana wielding, we like try hard. No. I would I would invade as a monster.
Wait, what?
So there was a spell called Iron Flesh, right? You would put it on, and your poise, which essentially means how many hits it takes until you stagger, it increases dramatically. But you crawl. You can barely walk. You're super slow. So I would stand at the entrance of the ladders, the area they have to pass to get to the boss, and I would slowly walk towards them, covered in the heaviest, mossiest armor, with an egg for a head, squirting like my little worm at them, and like doing little special effects with certain spells. And I would essentially look like a boss. I was like a mini boss. And I would like do moves like every 3 seconds. I'd perform a move. Like I had a certain pattern I would do every single time, and like when I got really low on HP, I would try to roll. And because you have Iron Flesh, you can't roll normally. So instead, your character would just like move really awkwardly forward but not roll. So that would be me being like, "Oh, I'm hurt." Anyway, long story short, eventually, right before I die, I would go super quick into the menu like a goddamn speedrunner and drop an item and then die. And then the beginner would get like a cool beginning item. Like it wasn't anything OP. I wasn't giving them like stuff to break the game. It was like, oh, here's a Titanite chart, a large Titanite chart, like one large Titanite chart. That's nice. You now have access to Titanite charts. Now you'll be able to upgrade your weapon just slightly a little bit earlier, or maybe like some fire bombs or something. Something slightly useful. Definitely at the beginning of the game that you're like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And like I got a lot of people who would send me messages to be like, that was sick as fuck. Like that was really awesome. I did not expect to see the item, which is something I got really like something I got really good at. I would drop the item, die, get into my menu, and send a pre-made message where I was like something like chosen undead. Your reward awaits, and as like the subject. And
Yeah.
then I'd write that it's like, oh, you vanquished the invader, and da da da. And it's like, claim your prize and continue. Ring the bell, undead one. Continue down your fate. Like stuff like that. It was super cute, and people would respond super positively. They'd be like, "Oh man, that was super cool. I've never had an invasion before. It was so scary." I was like, "Oh well, have fun, enjoy." And then occasionally, as I'm about to send these like nice messages, being like, "Oh, pick up the item and stuff," I would randomly get a message, and I'd be like, I
Get
send the
bodied.
message. I send the message. I look at my new messages, and then some guy be like, "Get good, fucking scrub. This is what you get for You think you're good at this game?" And then they wouldn't say anything ever again because they wouldn't say anything after that because they would get that super nice message like, "Don't forget to pick up your item."
Bruh.
And then they'd be like, "Oh, I've had like only one out of like 100 people who did that were like, oh, my bad."
So here you
My
are
be
collecting all these items to basically give them away, right?
Yeah.
And this asshole just like, get fucked, noob.
It was pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. Those were my favorites. And then sometimes though, people would summon other people who are twinking, because that's what that build is called. It's called like a twink build.
Yeah.
So their like weak friends would summon other people who are like beyond strong, but they also are really low leveled. So when that would happen, I'd be like, take the armor off, take Iron Flesh off, let's go.
Let's
And
go. And then you just
I'd,
fuck them up.
well, no. I'd kill their friends. They would panic, and then I'd put the armor, Iron Flesh, and then become the monster again. I'd be like, all right, buddy, let's fight. And inevitably, every time I killed their friends, they would run away and then unplug the router.
Bruh.
Every time, without fail, they'd be like, quit, disconnect.
They're just farming
Haha,
the PvP
you didn't
item.
get me. And then I'm like, bruh. No. I mean, if you disconnect, that's it. You just disconnect.
Yeah,
Like,
but like in getting invaded with a group of friends like that, it's probably just farming the items or farming some
oh
YouTube
yeah, I see what
views.
you're saying. Yeah, gankers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Some of them were like totally gankers. Yeah, that totally happened. It was really unfortunate because then I think there's only one person, and I'd be like, Iron Flesh, put the armor on, and then all the rest would show up, and I'd be like, fuck, I'm screwed. Because you can't undo fire Iron Flesh, so I'm just stuck walking away. I'm like a little snail, like, please, no, God, no. And then they shoot giant lasers at me from 20 miles away and I die. So that has also happened. But it was a really good time. I really enjoyed doing that. That was like a real big hobby of mine. I really like, even to this day, I really like. I guess that's why I try to play the games and finish them at really low levels, because that always gives you an opportunity to go back and be like the cool older brother.
Right. So as of right now, if we have anybody in chat that wants to drop any questions, I've decided you don't have to use the highlight my message thing, even though it's only 69 points if you want. Um, but you can
Nice.
just go ahead and ask. But in the meantime, if you have anything to plug, just go ahead and let us know. Let us know about this rebranding you got going on and how we can support you.
Well, I got a YouTube and a Twitch. Obviously, the YouTube is, work in progress. There's nothing on there, so not really. Yeah, normally people make the stuff and then they get on these shows and they plug it. No. See, that would mean I'm using my friendship for profit, and I ain't like that, bud. So, guess what? I'm not gaining anything from this. I have a YouTube. I'm gonna be narrating like Reddit stories, probably ironically, it's probably going to be RPG horror stories, that sort of thing, RPG glory stories, because I really like Pathfinder and D&D and all that. I love those stories. I love sharing those experiences, the bad, the good, and uh, being a person that really enjoys them, I feel like sharing them would be the next best thing. It's the same thing as DMing. It's the same thing as sharing those feelings. I'd love to be the voice, the narration, the mode by which you get to experience these fun tales and get to also enrich your day a little bit with it. And then alternatively, of course, I have a Twitch already. It's the one I'm literally using to be on here and stuff. Anyway, point is, I have the Twitch. The Twitch, I'm just gonna go ahead and play some games, enjoy some stuff. The Void is still there for anyone who was familiar with the Void. We're still voiding. We're still voiders.
We
There's a
voiding.
plot now, so I need to film all those segments and want that, and so I can integrate them into the YouTube, so that way the plot can stay relevant. But shorts are god apparently. Aggressive Coconut's come out with a question.
Yeah,
Uh,
Coconut asks, was the rebranding before or after Mount Hershey? And is it like a Gandalf transformation?
I definitely agree with the latter. It was a Gandalf transformation. But it's definitely after the Mount Hershey situation. As a young kid, I stayed away from social media. Ironically, everyone was on the Facebooks, on the Instagram, Snapchats. Everybody loved all that stuff. Vine existed back then. And I stayed away from all of it because I knew that if I integrated with any of that into my life, all I was going to produce was complete and utter cringe that I'd spend the rest of my life regretting that I made. So thank gosh I didn't do that and waited till I was way older. So now I have no excuse. So now all the cringe that people point at and make fun of me for is just now my horrid life.
What about MySpace?
Never touched MySpace. That was one of those big things. That was a huge thing. Huge, huge. And I went,
Huge.
no, not about it. Don't care.
MySpace was
I'm too
cool
cool for
though.
that.
You could customize your own background
You
and
mean the top five and all
yeah,
that
and
beautiful
then
stuff and the
people could
music
yeah
that
music as soon as you came onto my page.
now people are like, yo, did you see this new thing? They're putting music on your page, and everyone who had MySpace is like, bruh. Just like when people, it was like a TikTok recently that was like, yo, we should all have a phone that like stays at your house that people can call so they
Oh
can get in
no,
contact with anyone at home. And I'm like, yo, bro, that's a landline.
that's that's
Bro, how old
already
am
there,
I?
my
And then
brother.
apparently people don't know how to read analog clocks anymore.
Yeah, there was a meme I saw where the teacher like it was like homework, right? And the teacher's like draw a small clock that says like 6:05 or something like that.
And they just drew
And they drew
fucking.
a digital clock. Eventually we're gonna get to the point where kids don't even know what the fuck a clock is.
It really be unfortunate like that. And I agree aggressively, Coconut. I'm very much the same way. Feel
True,
like my
same.
life is complete and utter cringe. I I every day, occasionally I'll remember something I streamed, and I'll be like, what's wrong with me? Why did I do that? Why did I allow this?
And then you just
But here we
accept
are.
it.
We were talking about phones before or after 2G. See, was 2G even a thing? Was I allowed?
So 2G also was known. Sorry about this, but I used to work with phones.
Yeah.
2G was also displayed on like you get like 4G and it's displayed as LTE
Yeah, yeah,
on your
yeah.
phone. 2G was also displayed as an E, just like
Oh, okay.
Edge
Oh, yeah, yeah.
network.
We had super 2G. See, this is the thing though. My phone, all I did is I waited till 9 o'clock and then I would talk with all my friends. Yeah.
The
Remember
free
that?
minutes.
Yeah, the 3 minutes after 9. That's all I did ever. I only talked on the phone after 9. I'm dying. I'm being kidnapped. Nah, man, my mom will be really upset if I put minutes on my phone. I'm gonna wait till after 9. I'll call her, tell her I got kidnapped.
So if you had,
Kidnappers,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, no, the kidnappers feel pretty bad about it, but like it is what it is. So if you
So
had,
if you had your computer on with speakers,
yes,
and it used to make a buzz when what?
yes, yes, I know what they're talking about. Yes, hell yeah, that's how it'll be. That shit was crazy when we discovered that. We were like, wait a minute, whoa! It was the coolest thing. I'm a boomer. What do you want from me? I still remember
Wait,
connecting to dial-up.
oh, yeah.
Just,
So
what do you think that was, a car alarm?
I thought you were doing like a little dance or like a trying to duplicate the Motorola. There was
Fucking musically dance?
yeah. No, like I although I don't have
An
like a lot of
ambulance.
experience with old technology, like
Mhm.
because I was like a 97's baby.
Mm.
So by the time that I was already here in the US, and I want to say it was like maybe 2008, I was like in maybe elementary, middle school kind of. Um we still had AOL. We used AOL because that was the first type of internet we ever got, and yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. All right, all those sounds of the dial-up connecting and shit like that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I would like open up AOL on my Toshiba laptop that had like Windows 90 something on it, and then I would run away, and like a minute later I would come back and I would like be ready to use the computer.
Yo, I need to find the sound effect. Hold on.
Do it.
Hold on. Is
Well,
it this one?
while he
Hold
looks
on.
for it, Coconut, how's your day going?
Fuck, no, I can't find it. Um So there's an error in Windows, and it's not the XP one, the doom. No, I'm
Doom.
not talking about that one. All right, and now I'm forgetting it, of course, because my brain blocked out the memory because you're like, we're not getting scared today, and you're not gonna make the noise. I remembered it again.
You said it's
There
a
was a sound.
Windows?
Yes, it was a Windows sound. It would go ding loong. The most intense ding loong sound ever is whenever an error would happen on freaking Windows 90, whatever, bro, whatever it was that I had. And it was the most terrifying sound to me because you would be in the middle of the night, you'd open a window, maybe a few too many windows.
Was
And by
it
a few too many windows, I mean two
was
windows.
it like this?
Your RAM.
Was it that one?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, I'm gonna try it again.
No, no, no. That one's nice. That one's nice. It was terrifying, I assure you. A random window would appear in the middle of your screen with a red X on it, and it would say error, blah, 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 and it would just go ding in the middle of the night. And it was the most terrifying thing. It felt like there was a demon suddenly in your computer. And of course, every time you saw it, it meant something was wrong with the computer. So, three things would happen. One, I'd get scared by the sudden sound. Two, the pop up would scare me. And three, I'm scared I just broke the computer. It was terrifying. That sound is the stuff of the night that my nightmares are made out of. That and that my brother would tell me because we lived in this apartment on the second floor, and literally across from us, past the parking lot, across the street is another apartment. And for whatever reason, someone, maybe it was a camera or something, but they had a little red light on through their window. And my brother called it, he called that thing, that little red light, he called it it. So whenever I saw a 1 pixel size red spot, that was the incarnation of it. It was like an Aldrich horror. It was terrifying. The idea is that if you ever saw it, you cannot look away because whatever it is coming for you. And the moment you look away, that light turns off. It's coming. It's running. It's coming straight towards your location. So
Okay,
the idea is whenever we saw the light, we'd have to look out the window. We couldn't look away. We'd both look because if any one of us blinked, we had to make sure the other person didn't blink.
I
We had to
wanna
make sure.
I wanna
Yes,
go ahead
yeah.
and play another sound, and I just wanna know if that's the one.
Hit me with it.
Let me turn my phone up all the way up. Did you not hear it?
Damn, I didn't hear it.
Okay, one more time. Okay, this time I'm gonna like shove it like right in front of my microphone. There's no way you didn't hear that.
Bro, I didn't hear anything.
Oh my god, you got it. You
That
okay?
crisp is working too hard.
Yeah, you okay? Open it up on the stream. Turn on the sound on stream.
Oh, well, I can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think it's picking it up.
I will have to find the stream really quick. Hold on. Boom.
Okay, you
We're
ready?
alive. Hit me with it. No, it's not that one.
Okay,
That one's too fun.
that one's too fun. Okay.
Too fun.
Yeah, the next one was the plump.
It went ding. It was a two-tone, super sharp, super loud sound. I don't know. Was it a goddamn bootleg Windows version we were running? I don't know. Point is, it was terrifying. It also was terrifying because then that carried on through my whole life. So like if you took a white page, put a little red dot on it, you've summoned the demon. It's coming. Shit like that. My brother did some he invoked some true altered horrors into my life. And then I found out about weeping angels and Doctor Who, and that did not help. So it was literally the incarnation of it. And then there was a movie called It about a clown, and it had a red balloon. So I was like, bro, what the heck? He's everywhere. This little It horror I created is following me everywhere.
That's scary, bro. I used to.
Yeah.
Well, so the first signs of like me having like some fucked up mental shit, right? Were I was like, I want to say like 7 or 8,
Mhm.
and I used to like see shit out the corner of my eye, right? So one time I was just chilling on the bed, and like this was like the house where we had that like shitty ass internet,
Mhm.
that AOL.
Beautiful.
So I would like look out the window like just from the corner of my eyes, and I'd see like somebody standing out there. And I
Ugh.
just like turn around a little bit, and then nobody was there. So there was this one night, right, where I
Mhm.
had the world's fucked up, most wild dream, right? That
Mhm.
I was like playing video games in my dream because video games are based,
Hell yeah.
and I hear my newborn brother crying, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, let me go see what's up. Like usually my
No,
mom,
no,
I'll
no.
hear my
Bro, you're
mom like
giving me I'm getting goosebumps.
she'll like fucking like, already be like picking him up and be like, like trying to soothe him. So I go
Mhm.
over and the baby's like there, right? So I'm like, shit, man, come here. Start picking him up, and I'm like sitting down on my mom's bed and shit. And then my
Mm.
sister comes in, and she's holding a baby, and I'm
Fuck.
like, whose baby
Well,
is that? And she goes, oh, that's our little brother. And I'm like, then who the fuck am I holding? So I look down at the baby, and it's just like static for a face, like TV static,
jeez.
but it's fleshy.
Ah!
And then slowly, like the sound of static, like just comes up
Oh, it just comes,
and
oh, it
fades away
consumes.
as the
Ah!
baby like disappears. Like someone
No!
took the opacity slider and like put it like slowly downward, and the blanket just like in my hands, like no baby no more. And so I'm like freaking out. And in my parents' room, there was this door towards like the only bathroom in the house. So
Mhm.
I go through that door, like trying to like fucking get around and shit, because my sister was like in the doorway, and so I'm using that as like a shortcut around her, because who the fuck wants to interact with people, right? Um,
Mhm.
so I open that door, and usually there's supposed to be a bathroom on the other side, but it's like a fucking big ass cornfield, right? And it's like a
Okay.
fucking spaceship taking off, like in the fucking distance. So I turned back around, and now my sister's gone, but there's this dude in a fucking wheelchair, like just chilling there. And I'm just confused as shit to the point that I actually wake up.
Uh-huh.
Now, years later, not years later, I'm fucking stupid. Months later,
Uh-huh.
we all just kind of started talking about these weird dreams about some dude in a wheelchair that we had, like it just kind of somehow came up, and all the pieces started coming together. And by the pieces, it's the extremely like, it's a lot of hardwood flooring in the house, or not necessarily hardwood, but it's like just flat flooring, and it's very open, like if in the living room, uh
An open floor
kitchen.
plan.
Yeah, there's not a lot of walls like in that area. Of course in the bedrooms and bathroom there is. And then the bathroom had a like a pretty nice looking tub, but there was a step to get in, and then there was like, usually there's like a sidebar for you to put like your soap and your shampoo and all this other stuff. But this one was a little bit bigger, like, and it just seemed weird and out of place. But that's what we used it for. But it was like when I tell you that it was bigger, it was big enough for somebody to sit on. There was a handle to get in and out of the bath. Um, and I don't know how this question was asked to the landlord, but Eventually, we found out that the house was previously owned, like before the landlord got his filthy little mittens on it. Was owned by a disabled person. Um, and like these pieces didn't really like come together until like we'd finally like fucking learned about this shit. That shit was fucking wild, dude. Now, am I a sidekick? I don't know.
Whoa.
Well, and with that fucking story, Koro, I want to wish you a good night. If there is anything else left to say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, I say we covered a lot of ground. We covered a couple really really famous stuff, and also, no, it wasn't Windows 95 or 98 or XP. I'm also very very aggressively interested in this right now. I'm trying to figure it out too. We will find it out. I'll be sure to post it in the Discord when I get the chance. Um, but I want to go ahead and just highlight a few things. Uh, let's give a moment of silence for Mount Hershey Squirt. Let's think back to Mercury. Let's remember that ancient does in fact mean an age of antiquity, which would be Pax Romana. And let us never forget the ship of these nuts.
The ship of these nuts.
And Promethi nuts.
Prometheus nuts. All right, Koro.
Never forget it.
Yes, coconut. Big claps all the way around. Koro, dude, you were amazing, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. It was nice getting to know you and the way your brain works a little bit.
Well, the pleasure
And
was all mine.
yeah, if we ever do get to do this again, man, we gotta go a little bit more insane style in the next session of just philosophical shit.
Okay.
We gotta go full wild. We gotta lose our minds on stream.
We'll do it. What was it? Unga bunga that
We'll unga
all
bunga
over.
that shit.
Unga bunga. Yeah, see, I'm a boomer. I don't remember, bro.
You should remember that shit's about y'all.
No. Originally, it was Unga bunga. See, it's
Oh.
the new kids that made the Unga bunga thing. It was that SpongeBob character that made that more popular.
Meow, hoy, meow.
I love that.
All right, Coro. I'm about to
All right.
teleport your ass back to Mars. Have a
Yeah.
good rest of your night.
Back to the void. You take care.
You too.
It was a pleasure.
Meow.
Bye bye now. Good night, everyone. Take care.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that there was an amazing, handsome man who doesn't see the value of his smile and the amazingness of his voice. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop simping. So I still need to get in contact with the next person, but it looks like our next guest. Let's see. I didn't even pull that up because I'm stupid. Do 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 do. Give me like a million seconds here. I'm checking the guest list. Okay, so our next guest, maybe they should be available. But our next two guests will be my best friend Mona and Izzy. So just feel free to check out the Discord. I do have the sign up sheet there. If you have signed up and there is anything that you want to change specifically on there, I encourage you to just shoot me with a message. I have those saved as PDFs, so I can edit them again through Google Chrome and then resave them with your edits. But yeah, other than that, I feel like we had a really great day today. I want to just go ahead and give another thanks to Koro, useless narrator in the future, for coming by. And yeah, I hope everybody here has a great rest of your day. I never know when to shut up, so I'm out.